This is the ancient West of England city of Gloucester, renowned for its cathedral, its cattle market, its cheese, and its cricketers.
I think the Townscape Heritage Initiative is really important, particularly for cities like ours, which have so much heritage, but which has been a bit run down, not very much appreciated, not really used as a catalyst for wider regeneration, investment, and actually citizens' pride.
The Southgate Street Townscape Heritage Initiative is a heritage-led £1.2 million regeneration project funded through the National Lottery Heritage Fund and Gloucester City Council. The project covered an area starting at St Mary de Crypt Church and ending at the southern end of Southgate Street where it meets St Anne's Way. By 2014, the Gloucester Docks area had experienced significant regeneration. The route from the docks through to the city, however, remained fragmented and diluted. At the same time, the Southgate Street area had declined due to lack of capital investment in infrastructure, resulting in a decline of both building condition and the broader street scene. The Southgate Street Townscape Heritage Initiative project was designed to arrest this decline by supporting local businesses and landlords to invest in their properties through targeted grant funding, encouraging renewed footfall, wider investment and new economic activity. Alongside this, work was also done to raise awareness of the local historic environment and the area's special character through a range of activities open to local residents and community groups.
Are we going to do it? If people have never done something before, something practical like masonry, and you introduce them to it, then it can really open doors for them. So with the THI project, we're taking on complete novices. We were doing fairly simple stuff with regards to masonry. So we're chopping out old mortar, taking off old stones, refixing them and repointing. At the end of the day, they were doing stuff that was valid and worthwhile and was going to stay there. I'm really pleased with what we've got here and what we've done. And you know, we've had so many good comments about such a good job you're doing, and wow, doesn't that look great? And this place has needed it for a while. And I've really enjoyed this whole experience. I'd look forward to doing this again. You know, job gets done with lottery funded money. People get experience. You know, what's not to like about that?
Because it's been running for 5 years, people forget just what it was like all that time ago, with so many properties that were in need of improvement, that were vacant and derelict, and we've seen a lot of the key ones brought back into use. I wouldn't say it was job done yet. There's still improvements that need to be made, but hopefully what the scheme has done is create a momentum that will carry forward over the coming months and years.
I used to have a business down on Lansley Road when it was completely derelict. First came the quays, development of the quays, and then came the THI. And you can see individual houses and buildings and businesses dotted along the road, improving individually, and it just raises the whole area. When everybody's working for the same goal, it makes what you're doing more enjoyable and more achievable, because everyone is firing in the same direction. And I know that on my own, with applying to the council to have many of the issues that had previously happened to this property with previous owners in removing architectural details which they shouldn't have, that whole process became a lot easier because it was hand in hand with the grant.
People that are experienced, especially in the modern or the new industry, today's industry, are very difficult to find. There's not many projects where they can get that sort of experience, and sadly we have a real sort of break in generations where we're losing the trained stonemasons and carvers and wood carvers and people that even know how to work with different limes and why that lime is where you use a 3, a 2 or an HL5. And without the young people being taught this, we're going to sadly soon not have very many at all that can understand or be able to work on buildings like this in the future. So it is very difficult trying to find the work in order to take on an apprentice and be able to teach them that.
We've also produced a series of educational resources to use in schools. We have 10 lessons covering various different topics to do with the history of Gloucester and architectural appreciation. So children can stand in Southgate Street and look at a view of the street and compare that view with a photograph taken back in the Victorian era or in the early 20th century. Alongside the work with schools, we've also been running a series of workshops for property owners as part of the scheme. We're very keen that people who own older buildings learn a bit more as to how to look after them and how to find out more about them. So we've done some workshops on simple issues like identifying damp and the sources of damp in a property, how to research the history of your older property. And then in the last couple of years, we've partnered up with REBA Southwest and RIC Southwest, and we've been running more structured courses for professionals who are interested in working with older properties, and those have been really successful.
The fact that there have been physical improvements made have helped confidence in the area, and businesses have moved in and opened up. I can just see a couple that we're looking at now, and there are other examples further up the street. So I definitely think it's had that impact, both in terms of business and the community, people coming here and making the Southgate Street area their long-term home rather than just the transient population that perhaps we had before. I was involved right from the start when the application was put in for funding, right through to seeing the final projects delivered, and it's one of the projects during my time in office that I'm most proud of.
I think generally the Townscape Heritage Initiative has been a really great success. We haven't achieved all of the buildings that we set out to achieve, but we have done an awful lot in the street, and most of what we wanted to do we've managed to do. And from our list of projects, we've done quite a lot of the priority ones, and we've moved some of the others up from a reserve list to become priority projects. So I think on the whole we've achieved pretty much everything we wanted to achieve, which is great. The THI has been a wonderful project to work on. I've really enjoyed working on it. I've met some lovely people, and it's been a real privilege to work with the sort of historic buildings in the Southgate Street area, and to work in the conservation team and the planning team at the City Council, where I've got to be involved with a lot of other things like doing the heritage strategy and seeing all the other historic buildings that there are in the city, the timber framing, the beautiful architecture that we have. And it is not every day that you get to work in a place like Gloucester and get your hands dirty with those beautiful buildings. So it's been really lovely to work on this scheme.